Hi, folks. This is Don Meisner with the North Country Fishing Report, and I've just returned from New Hampshire. Finally, most of our sports shows are completed, and we've traveled all over the East Coast trying to bring the message to people to explore Massena, come to this area. And when we talk to them about Massena, I want you all to remember, because I know those of you listening live in other towns around St. Lawrence County, and this is all about St. Lawrence County. Massena has reached out, taken the chance, and showed the sort of support and the belief that this whole fishing program is more meaningful than people might imagine, and it can help build our future. But with all that said, let me tell you about some of the things that came to us as we talk to people at these other shows. And there's the key word, as we talked, and I think more important, even listened to people at these sports shows. I was affected deeply this year, but by things that I opened my mind up to that I'd never really felt quite the same about. And one of the things that will happen at some of these shows, that people will come up and they'll start to talk to us. And they will talk, and they will talk, and they will talk. And in the past, I'd think, okay, we can only talk so long about this or that, or we're here to meet the most people that we possibly can. But that's not really the story. And the story came to me this year, that a lot of times people come to these things for fishing. And we are there for the county, St. Lawrence County, and for the town of Massena, for fishing. But fishing is bringing us together. And so many of these people would come in. And I want to tell you about one in particular because it really affected me. I came back to our booth. I'd gone to get coffee or something, and I came back, and there was this old man sitting in our booth in a chair. And I noticed he had a hat on that said U.S. Army. And I knew he was having a tough time because I was watching him breathe. And I went up to him, and he says, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean." I said, "Listen, you can sit here as long as you would like. I know you're trying to get your breath." And he says, "Well, my family's out trying to get me a drink of water or pop or something like that." So I turned my back for a second, and then I turned back around. And he started talking to me. And he shared with me his life. He told me about how he and his wife were both in a nursing home type of place, and that he was able to get out, and he had a cane. He said, "I got to get used to walking with this. It's kind of like a metal. It's different than the canes of old. It probably gives more support." But then he started talking about his wife, who was in the same facility, and they had her in the same room so they could talk together. But she was all of a sudden being affected tremendously by dementia. She didn't know things, and she was imagining things and all the horror stories we hear about dementia. But the power of what I'm trying to tell you is this man opened his heart out to me, and he told me about what his wife was going through and what he was going through. We didn't talk about fishing. And finally, his family came back, and they were able to get him up, and away they went. And then his daughter came back to me, and she says, "I want to thank you. I want to thank you for sharing your booth and sharing your time with him." And I almost was moved to tears because I knew that those moments that I spent with this man were important to him in some way. He was able to talk about things that he wasn't really equipped to deal with. None of us are, as life changes come to us and some of the perils and the hardships of life that we all share together. Here is the point of this report, that fishing can bring people together in a way that maybe so many other things can't. And it just made me thankful that I had this opportunity to share this with this person. And there were other instances very similar that I won't go into now, but they were each poignant, and they were each about people coming to a place where they knew they could learn about fishing, and they actually came to learn maybe more about just life in general. Until next time, folks, This is Don Meisner with the North Country Fishing Report.